we're going to go soul travel with a bunch of green lizard aliens in a universe that is like a separate wave universe apart from us. We're gonna go with them, and we're gonna like sync up, and we're gonna have shared vision by phone. We're gonna go into a state of channeling, and we're gonna go with them, and then you're going to look for the gray aliens out there and help our lizard friends figure out who's trying to bomb their planets.
Wait, what? Seriously, this is shit that was happening?
You can tell somebody that, and they would say, "Well, you're a fucking crazy person,"
right? Welcome to the 57th episode of the Cast That Ends Creation. I'm your host, Chris Deering. This is a show where I interview bands and public figures from the mathcore and mathcore adjacent communities. If you beautiful people have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll try to read them aloud. If you'd like to sub for $5, you get access to some exclusive emos, as well as access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and streaming services. You can also sub for free by attaching Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, giving you one free sub a month, and you can give it to me. It's like taking $5 from Jeff Bezos' pocket and putting it into mine. If you're watching us on YouTube or listening to this in your car and have no idea what I'm talking about, the show is first shown live on Twitch. Join us every Sunday and Wednesday on Twitch at twitch.tv/thecastThatEndsCreation for the live cast. With that out of the way, let me introduce our guest tonight, who dropped their debut full-length Conquistador last Friday. Welcome in Dave Kaminsky of Stonehealer. How's it going?
It's going great, Chris. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to join you tonight.
Hell yeah, I'm glad you can make some time. So, I'm not sure what to think about when I think of the band's name. First off, you could be trying to heal cracked stones through the power of your music. You could also be like made of stone and going around healing people like a Jesus version of Alphonse from Full Metal Jacket. It could also just be like a front for selling healing crystals. So, which is it? Which of those is it?
The healing crystals, for sure. Yeah, that's actually what's going on here.
But no, seriously, how did you come up with the name? Where'd that come from?
Yeah, no, the name is cool. Like, my last name is Kaminsky, and I actually don't know if this is true or not. But like, I was told sometime that like Kaminsky has its origins in like it's the matriarchal family name of a family of stonecutters. Like that's the origin of it, I guess. So when I was starting this band, I really wanted to do something that was very authentic to me and that had a lot of personal meaning and was just honest and like raw. So, I was working through name options, and Stonehealer just kind of came up, and it kind of incorporated like all the elements. Like I wanted it to very, put myself out there very openly for people. So I think it represents me well.
Okay, nice. You're actually in this project with your brother, and it says your Facebook page for the band started in 2015, but I'm sure you guys have been working on music beforehand. What made y'all want to collaborate together?
I mean, Matt and I have been playing, I play guitar and he plays drums. Like we've been playing since he was like 9, and there's a 4-year age difference between us. So like,
are you older or younger?
I'm older. Okay. I'm 4 years older. So he was 9 and I was around 13 or so. And we started playing like, Lamb of God songs and In Flames songs and like old, fucking 90s metal, 2000s metal. And that's what kind of got us into
getting on the drums?
What's that?
Did you bully him into getting on the drums?
No, my parents started him on violin and quickly realized that he was a drummer.
Okay.
Because like if like a little kid is like bashing his violin strings, like he just can't get the nuance of doing that motion. Like you can kind of figure out like maybe he wants to bash stuff. Like let's put him on a drum set. So I did that.
Is this your first time y'all have actually recorded stuff aside from the EP? I know y'all did an EP in 2015, but aside from that, is this the first like album y'all have done together?
As Stonehealer, yeah, but we've been playing in bands of our own creation since Matt was 12 when we had our first band that was playing shows. So we've been, back from before Matt was in high school. we were like playing locally in Connecticut together.
You have any recordings from that far back?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
our
for
first
real?
band ever was called Yildun, Yildun, Yildun. And we were trying to be like technical death metal, right? But we were fucking stupid idiots. It's like what do you make when you're 12 years old and you just, you're trying. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, okay.
A couple of people dug it. And then we tried to do we did our first like black metal bands, which was called Autolatry, which we ended up doing 2 huge US tours on a couple of releases for that album, like while Matt was still in high school. So like we did plenty of stuff before Stonehealer. Like I've released way more music in the past than I have recently. But everything that I've ever written myself, my brother has played drums on.
Okay, nice. I did see that you had a couple of projects, at least one, between like the EP and here that y'all started another project too. It was like Log Carrier or
Log Driver.
Log Driver. I didn't actually get to listen to it, but that's a sick name. And the album cover is just like a mule pulling a sled with logs on it. And I was like, that's like,
yes.
That's obviously what it had to be.
It's deforestation themed grindcore.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the album is called Extinction is Forever. Because it's forever.
Extinction is forever. That is apt.
I had a T-shirt as a kid. I was a dinosaur kid. Sometimes kids are just dinosaur kids, or they're firefighter kids, or they're like, airplane kids. Like I was a dinosaur kid.
Yeah, you want to be a T-Rex when you grow up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like my parents took me to Dinosaur State Park. And they got me this fucking T-shirt, and it was just a bunch of dinosaurs on it. And the caption below just said in block letters, "Extinction is forever."
Jesus Christ, that's
and
dark.
I'm like, I didn't realize how fucking sick that shirt was when I was, 6 years old. I found that, 15 years later at that point, and I was like, I have to do this. Is like so metal. Like I need to do something with this.
That's actually pretty crazy. That's like on a kid's shirt. Just
It's stark.
So like I was saying, you guys did an EP back in 2015. Hugh Rides Immolated Horses. And now you're back with your debut full-length Conquistador. Looks like you've been writing on this at least since 2016.
Yeah. A couple of the songs on Conquistador actually were written at the same time as I did the EP. So dating back to all the way like 2014. The general structure is like actually the second song of the album, Whence Shall I, that was originally meant to be released on the EP, as was the third song, Surrender. But they were the 2 that I had the least fleshed out in 2015 at the time. And I kind of made the executive decision to more or less like test the waters with the Stonehealer EP rather than like put what I was considering like the jewels of my compositions at the time, like into this first EP, like this debut. And I think that was a really good decision because I grew a lot as a musician and songwriter from the time that I released the Horses EP to now. And I'd been evolving those songs the entire way, just in the arrangement and the, composition and structure and all the stuff. I mean, I was really, really taking the details and messing with them. But
I did
some
see
of the
a
riffs
Facebook post talking about how you're constantly re-recording parts, like constantly adding to it and such. Did you plan on the songs being as long as they are, or is that just how it organically happens?
That's, the song length is kind of just how it organically happens, but it's more, I'm such a perfectionist, especially when it comes to my own music. Like I got to the point now where I made a decision that I don't want to release anything at all that I don't think is perfect by my standards. So like,
hard standards to live up to, man. Like I know I'm always questioning
yeah.
everything that I do. I can only imagine like trying to
And
make it
it's
absolutely
different
perfect.
like when I'm recording other bands, because that's a thing that I do, and I feel much better about like allowing something to be released that has imperfections in it, because I think that can be cool. But when it's me producing, recording, mixing my own music that I write and play all of, it's like I won't stand for anything less than what I think is perfect.
Dude,
And
I
then it
feel
can,
you. I do the same thing, man. I have my own project, The Sound That Ends Creation, and I also mix and master some other bands and stuff. So
oh,
I
sick.
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Like, I can finish up with a band in like a week or something, but my shit takes like a month or so to actually mix because I'm constantly banging my head up against the wall trying to make it perfect. You
absolutely.
know.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Uh, so you guys released this last Friday, and you had 1.5k streams on release day. That's really freaking good, man.
I'm stoked on it. I mean, I've never had a release this successful in terms of like just the numbers, but also that meant as much to me personally. So those things lining up together, like I'm on cloud nine right now. I'm so happy and so grateful and thankful for all of the amazing people that like decided to click on the album and check it out, because most people haven't heard of us before. So it means a lot personally because of how much I put of myself into the music.
Right, it's
But it's
actual
also,
blood, sweat, and tears.
yeah, yeah, that's literally it.
Uh, so you have this odd mix of genres from black metal, death metal to literal hard rock. I don't know how the hell you even add that in there, but that's there. It's hard to pigeonhole you. I imagine that's the goal though, is to try to make it as eclectic as possible.
Uh, not. I mean, that's how it comes out, I think, but that's not a goal that I have going in to making any music. Like I I had goals with this record, specific goals that I hadn't had before with a recording. Um, I wanted to make a statement. I wanted to make a record that I thought was perfect for me. I wanted to raise a gigantic middle finger to metal elitism as a whole, metal elitists, especially people who insisted on calling us black metal, like after the first Stonehealer release, because like I just didn't want to be lumped in with that genre. I love black metal, but I just didn't want my music to be called that exclusively. Um, so I did some things. I made some creative choices that would like work towards those goals, but it was never to just the goal was never to like have such a wide spanning array of genres that are apparent, that it's just like a barrage. I just wanted to make my music, and I think that I feel like I succeeded in making music that sounds truly like me, like my soul.
Right, I saw some people calling you progressive black metal, and I was like, I guess that's in there, but it's not. It's not really black metal. I like it you more like
No,
prog metal. Is that fair?
that's like I think that's the most reasonable like all around label for this music. I mean, the rock and roll thing is like probably that's number one for me. When I'm listening to music, I'm probably listening to the same 90s rock records over and over again. That's just what I want to be listening to. But I also want those bands to have blast beats. So,
Well, so to me, I would compare you to like stuff like Mastodon or Opeth, or Between the Buried. To me, I imagine these are probably influences on you. What are some of the other influences?
I love getting the Between the Bear to Me comp, because they're a band that I used to really love and haven't listened to in 10 years, and I think Mastodon is, I love Mastodon, but they're again another band that I just don't really listen to a lot. Um, Opeth was like a huge influence on me growing up, and I always tried, you know, as a kid, like as a teenager, to like write Opeth like songs. And when you do that, you just like you either successfully rip them off or you suck at ripping a band off. And I think I sucked at
Right.
ripping them off. But like my influences, with this record, like Alice in Chains and Ulcerate are the two biggest that come to
That's
mind.
so it's so weird to put those right next to each other. Like
Yeah,
those are the biggest influences on this.
but they are, and I think you know, other ones that have really helped shape who I am as a writer recently. Caveller Talk comes to mind. Um, and then more black metal bands like Helheim and Dodheimsgard come to mind, uh, because they both have this like avant-garde and almost rock quality to sections of their very extreme metal, and I love bands who are able to walk that line in whatever way they choose. Um, the ulcerate is because I love their atmosphere, not because I want to write suffocating riffs like that are so like abrasive and sometimes borderline atonal. Like I just love how complete the atmosphere they create is, and it's a goal of mine to get to that point, to like create something that's so uniquely mine that it calls to mind other bands who are able to do that for themselves. And I think Alice in Chains, for that matter, have done that with specific albums in their catalog. Like Facelift for me is the greatest record ever made of all time in any genre ever.
Can I make it a confession real quick?
Yes.
I don't think I've ever listened to Alice in Chains. I've probably heard them on the radio, but
Yeah.
I don't know a song.
That's okay. I think that they're a metal band that got called a rock band, that got called a grunge band. Like their use of melody is prog, like 100%. My my biggest vocal influence is Lane Staley, and the Lane who's the singer of Alice in Chains and the guitar player Jerry Cantrell, like they sing together in these odd intervals that uh that no one else really does. Like, and then usually when people utilize those moving intervals, which they're oftentimes moving inside of a part, um it'll be an obvious Alice in Chains rip. And I hope that I didn't I hope it wasn't too on the nose on my record, but
I was gonna say you do have a lot of like clean sections. I was wondering if you were trying to do that yourself. So I guess you did.
I mean, yeah, like that's where I think I got the, initial inspiration from, but I'm not like a guttural metal vocalist. I've never been able to do those kind of sounds, and that doesn't feel as honest to me as singing does. So again, with a record that I wanted to be completely honest and like authentic and bare my soul to the world, I wasn't going to hide behind metal platitudes and metalisms. I was just going to sing the way that I sing. So that's what it is.
Oh hell yeah, man. So the writing, as far as writing process goes, I assume you wrote everything, or does your brother write the drums? How does that work?
Whenever we're working on songs, like I'll have either one or two guitar parts like that are supposed to be played simultaneously, and I'll create an arrangement of that so that we can just like work through the song. And I'll usually write all the parts, all the guitar parts, like with drums in mind, and we'll just shed them out like in person. We'll work them out in person, and that's just our chemistry. It's what we've always done. Is like I don't want to program something for him and put that in his ear. Like I want us like creatively just to work and to utilize that chemistry and let his ideas come out. And I will sound stuff out like a dummy. Yeah, and he'll look at me like, Dave, don't even fucking know. But then he'll know what I'm trying to do, and he'll get it. And that's how we work. And everything else, the guitar parts and the bass, and all the vocals, that's the rest of that is just me.
I think every musician probably has like a voice memo file on their phone where they're just like making guitar noises and stuff into it. So I think most people can relate to that.
Yeah.
So you put out this long description on your Bandcamp about what the lyrics are about. I'm not gonna read it, but it's essentially a concept album. What's the basic idea?
It's I'm writing about personal trauma and experience of mine. something that I've called, like, especially in the liner notes of the Horses EP in 2015, like I called that experience that I'm talking about like a spiritual extortion that happened over the course of years, like 3 years. And I got part of that stuff out with the lyrics and the music on the Horses EP, but it was never done there. Like I had so much more to let go of through music. And so I just kept writing through that time, and I came up with these songs. The record is, you could say it's a concept album. It's more just a collection of songs. It's collections of songs that have not it's not telling a story like a narrative.
Well, it's more like the I guess the feeling or like what you're trying to accomplish makes it a concept album.
Yeah. In that way, it is. I'm the major concept at play is something that I have been calling mistaken divinity, which is like this paradigm that one can operate under where you feel that you are personally ordained by God or divinity of some kind to do something. So Conquistador, the album, gets its name, and I'm drawing, this parallel between conquistadors of the 15 and 1600s, like going from western countries like European countries into the rest of the world and like literally conquering and killing everybody in their path, many of whom, like, the justification for those actions was that they were ordained by God to expand the empire of Spain or France or Denmark. Yes. and it's just kind of an amazing thing. And what makes it even more so for me personally is that, like, that's the exact paradigm that this person who was terrorizing my life was operating under. She believed herself to be ordained by God to be, she called herself, she called herself God on Earth to me.
Wait, like, what? Like, yeah. a girlfriend or something?
No, this was a person who helped me at a time in my life when I was filled with hatred and anger and 19-year-old stuff, and helped me not kill myself. Acted as a practitioner, and we had a patient-practitioner relationship. She called herself an energetic healer. So that's okay. The other side of the stone healer thing. And she perpetrated on me a 3+ year long brainwash, manipulation, coercion, extortion.
Jesus Christ, dude, what the fuck?
and that's what this album is about, because she believed that she was channeling divinity, and that everything that she did was the word of God on earth.
Can you go deeper into that, or do you not want to touch that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
like, what's some of the stuff that she would say?
Well,
or do to you, or whatever?
It's like, you can.
You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. It's all
no,
good.
I just want to like make sure I don't misconstrue like the events, because it's like human beings are so fucking complicated. You can tell somebody something that's completely batshit insane, like, we're going to go soul travel with a bunch of green lizard aliens in a universe that is like a separate wave universe apart from us. We're gonna go with them, and we're gonna like sync up, and we're gonna have shared vision by phone. We're gonna go into a state of channeling, and we're gonna go with them, and then you're going to look for the gray aliens out there and help our lizard friends figure out who is trying to bomb their planets.
Wait, what? Seriously, this is shit that was happening?
You can tell somebody that, and they would say, "Well, you're a fucking crazy person," right? But if you build that story up, like block by block, very, very slowly over the course of time.
Right.
And you build trust, and you create a relationship slowly that feels real.
It's like the QAnon conspiracy.
One day you'll believe that you're soul traveling to a universe and saving lizard aliens.
Jesus Christ, dude. Is this really stuff that she was telling you that y'all were doing?
Oh, I believed it. Hook, line, and sinker, man.
Holy shit,
I was
that's
convicted.
crazy.
I was so fucking convicted, dude. I thought that my family was trying to kill me. I thought everybody I loved was trying to kill me. She turned everyone against me. Or she turned me against everyone, really. I thought that everyone was a black soul and that they were all trying to turn me into a black soul. It's crazy as shit.
Yeah.
But again, trust was built, and it was at a time in my life where, I was always one for taking chances, and I knew that I was probably going to find some dumb way of killing myself if I didn't make a change in my life. So I made a conscious decision. I'll never forget it. I was 19 years old. I was living in Arizona, and I was like, I hate the word God. I hate all the stuff that she's talking about. Like, it brings up angst and anger and fear in me. But nothing I'm doing myself right now is working at all. So I'm going to do literally the exact opposite of everything that I'm doing right now, which practically was like, being open to using certain words like God and to trying to be open, to open myself up and to feel different things and it saved me. It completely saved me. But then this relationship I had with this person became perverted. She realized that she had something in me. I was the perfect candidate for being taken over like this, because I became a genuinely optimistic person and a hopeful person, and I'd always been fiercely loyal. So like, you have all these ingredients for a person to be deeply manipulated if you become the person that they trust more than anyone else. And she did for me. And this experience is what I wrote about on Conquistador. Every song, I mean, if you read the lyrics for every song, it is about this. 100%.
Christ. Dude, that's gonna hit so much harder now that I know about this.
Like One Whisper is those are things she said to me. So the song Surrender, she asked me to give up my body.
What does that even mean?
I surrender my body.
Does that mean kill yourself? What the fuck does that even mean?
No, it's just, I mean, although if she said, go get a gun and kill yourself tonight, I would have done it.
Jesus Christ, dude. That is dark as shit.
I mean, mind control is fucked up, but the prevailing, like, the album doesn't have a message. And I encourage everybody to read through all of the literature on the, the stuff on the Bandcamp page, like the album statement and the lyrics, if you're interested. But, and there's no like message, but there's a hopeful tone to the way that I leave the album statement, because, the strength of my will and my desire to love unconditionally, even then at the darkest point in my life, is what kept me from expiring.
Oh shit, man. I'm really glad you're able to make it through that. Like, holy shit. I'm glad that you're like okay now. Seem to have your shit together. So that, dude, that's great that you're out of that. Please don't go back.
I'm very happy. And it fucked me up for like 6 years after that too. I mean, you can imagine, like, you come out of this fucking thing and yeah, you're questioning every piece of reality. I feel amazing now because I just released this album. Like, the last piece of my own personal catharsis and healing was actually physically releasing the album that contains the songs that are my healing. I had to get that out into the world so it's no longer in me. And bro, this is sick. I feel great.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's so cool. That's awesome. So back to the album.
Okay.
You recorded all of this and mixed it, aside from the drums. Looks like you even have your own Studio Wormwood?
Yes. Yeah, that is. So I'm a recording engineer by trade. I've been doing it professionally since I was 20. And another part of this album that makes it meaningful to me is that, like, I I initially, I guess this would have been in 2018 when I was planning the recording, like didn't think that I was a good enough engineer to record it myself. I didn't believe in I hadn't made awesome records to that point. Like I had totally made awesome stuff and I was good, but I didn't believe it. And I didn't think that I could do justice to my own music. So I decided to go record this album at a studio in Connecticut called Power Station New England, which is a beautiful facility. They've got a vintage Neve board. It's like one of the most amazing recording spaces in the world. And it's actually a like foot by foot replica of the original Power Station studio in New York City. So it's like a legendary place. I went there to record and I worked with an engineer there, and without throwing any shade, like I didn't leave happy with what I got out of that experience.
Oh, gotcha.
The experience itself and just the tracks that I was left to work with. I was going to have this person record and mix it. And I just, I learned through that process, like that I'm actually a worthwhile recording engineer. Like I learned my strengths. I learned what I do with clients is not what everyone does with clients, in a recording context. Like I went in there expecting like all of the things that I do with a vocalist, for instance, for this person to do with me. And, that didn't really happen. So like that started to piece it together in my mind. Like I'm way more capable of doing a killer job on any recording than I give myself credit for. And then once I made that realization, which is like a huge part of my personal growth, I was like, well, shit, I have to make this record sound good now. So I did damage control on pretty much everything. I somehow didn't end up with DIs on guitar for any of the guitars.
Dude, that sucks.
Even though I like specifically wanted DIs. And we were running through like, 4 amps at one point to get some tones. And and to do that, like you would put your guitar into a DI split, but he didn't record a dry DI like I was intending. So that sucked. And I ended up, I couldn't go re-record the drums, even though there was fucking cymbal bleed all over everything. And I could re-record the guitars. So I probably at that point, after putting, $10,000 into a recording, started from scratch on the guitars. And I re-recorded at least half the guitars on the record. I re-recorded the majority of the vocals on the record. And then I spent 2 full years trying to mix it, trying to get it right. Because there was so much damage control and so much like, I had to learn so many different ways of working with fucked up audio. Like that just doesn't sound amazing. Like we recorded through amazing vintage Neve board and the best preamps and compressors and the best converters and this and that. So like technically the signals that we recorded were pristine. But in terms of tones, in terms of the sounds that I was looking for, like we did not get there on a lot of stuff. So that's where I had to like go back and do what I would call the damage control. And in the mix too, I just had so much weird stuff to deal with. I had to grow as an engineer, and I can finally say now that it's out, like I'm so happy with how this record turned out.
Dude, it sounds way better than your last one, honestly. Like, yes. Sonically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the first Stone Healer EP, like the Horses EP was supposed to be a demo. And then it was so long. I was like, well, I gotta call this an EP. I guess 30 fucking minutes.
What you can even call it a full length, man.
Yeah, seriously. so like, yeah, that was just supposed to be a demo. And I was planning on like releasing this full length album like shortly after. But I spent so long like planning it and redoing arrangements and then recording it and then redoing the recording and then mixing it and then redoing the mixes that like 6 years later, here we are.
Dude, that sucks though, losing $10,000 on fucking recording and stuff. Holy shit.
I thought first that, it was a loss. I felt like I lost something, but time heals a lot of wounds, and I changed my perspective over time, and I realized that like that $10,000 was the last piece of my audio education. Like I learned that I'm a fucking awesome recording engineer.
Dude, hell yeah,
I had to learn that.
Yeah, silver linings, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah,
dude, I love your personality.
That's
you always like you're so upbeat, and you see like the good things that come out of stuff.
Oh, that's awesome,
really
man.
Awesome, man. So your Bandcamp said you had this mastered by Ryan Williams of Augmented Audio. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know who he is. Did he work on anything else?
Ryan's fucking awesome. I was looking for a different mastering engineer option from my normal guys that I would master records with. And I hit Ryan up on Twitter. Like we followed each other on Twitter for whatever reason. And like he's actually the former bass player in the Black Dahlia Murder.
Oh.
So that was like his thing before he became an audio engineer, and now he's like a label A&R rep for like a pretty big like a metal label. But he's an amazing mastering engineer, and he's got great ears. And I just formed a relationship over time, like sending albums that I would record and mix to him to master. And he did such a great job on so many things that like it was a no-brainer to trust him with the Conquistador mix. And he did a great job. It out of a master, like I always want to preserve the vibe of the mix. Like I don't want the mix to change like as a result of what the mastering engineer does. And Ryan's really great at doing that, but also like if I need him to fix something or help with something, he can make a little tweak here or there with an EQ or compression move, and it's no big deal. So he's like everything you want in a mastering engineer.
Why not do it yourself?
As an engineer, I feel personally that I'd rather get another set of ears, like another perspective on the master itself. The mix, recording and mix, like that's me. But I feel that mastering is not really an artistic process. Mastering is a technical process. And for that process, when I already have like my thoughts on the mix and my thoughts on how stuff stacks up, I want somebody else's perspective on this very technical task of preparing a release for mass consumption across all media formats and playback mediums. That's really all mastering is just making it accessible across all these playback mediums for whatever format a record's being released on. I want to get somebody else's ears on it. Maybe they pick out something that I didn't pick out. Like maybe there's a frequency area in my room that I'm not hearing as well as I should, and they can hear that right away. Like just examples like that, where I think it's awesome to have another perspective that's not connected to the artistic decisions.
I gotcha. It is kind of weird though that you like put this all on yourself, like doing this for years and years, and decided you're gonna mix and record it yourself, and then you just send it out to somebody else. I kind of figured you'd be someone that would want to see it all the way through. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just
yeah. I think there's a difference between seeing it all the way through and physically doing the mastering. Cause my ears, like I can hear these minute changes in like what somebody's going to do with a master. And I found a guy who's going to preserve my mix. So the master sounds like the mix.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
I see what you're saying.
I'm happy with Ryan because it's almost like nothing happened. It just got louder and it sounds good. So it got louder responsibly, and it still sounds like my mix. Like that's a great mastering engineer right there.
I like that. Louder responsibly. Get louder responsibly, kids.
Yeah. Brick wall limiter.
So your artwork was done by Leo Oldfelder, I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah.
I should have actually had the image up. I meant to bring it up, but is that a real painting? I'm bringing up the image. My goal was to commission an original oil painting for the album artwork. And you commissioned it too. Damn, dude. All right.
I was searching for the right artist to hire to do this painting and take this image out of my head for like years. And I finally found Lee. I just like went on a deep dive of Instagram, like oil painter hashtags, like just like all the oil painters I found on Instagram. And there's amazing artists, but like Leo's style is incredible, and it's exactly what I love about oil painting as a medium. And his style is like loosely impressionist, loosely abstract, like combining a lot of influences with his painting style that really fit my aesthetic. And it's 100% like my personal taste. I straight up asked him, like, I love how your subjects transform. Like, you have transformative subjects, and I'm looking for something similar. And I described this image that I had in my head of the conquistador, and we just worked back and forth like that. It was an amazing experience, and Leo is one of my favorite human beings now. Like, he's an incredible musician. He's in awesome grindcore bands. His new band is called Water Noose. They're from Los Angeles, and they fucking rip.
Okay.
Right. He's like, yeah, he's a great person. He did the layout too on the CD, like all the digital layout stuff. And he did the t-shirt. So he's amazing. And the painting itself, it captures everything that I'm writing on the album about.
So you had a lot of notes and stuff on this then? It wasn't just him doing his thing?
Oh, I wrote a whole thing. I said, no, I gave him the idea. I said, this is the idea. This is what each part of it represents. The sunflower breaking through the conquistador's chest this is the unconditional love. This is the hope, the optimism that defeats the ego, and the conquistador is representing, at least partially representing just the ego of man, which is kind of what creates this like false paradigm of mistaken divinity in the first place. And this look of aghast horror on his face is something that he captured really well, because, for someone egotistical and arrogant, as this conquistador is meant to be and representing, like, should be shocked and totally aghast that a love unconditional is what would fell him. And that's what is depicted on the cover.
Damn, dude, that's awesome. So tell me that you own this. You own the painting, right?
I'm working on it. I mean, I was originally I gave up trying to actually get the painting.
Really? Is that hard?
Well, when you commission a painting for an album like I did, like you're basically purchasing the artist's time and the materials and the licensing to use the image on all of your pieces, but you're not actually buying the painting. So I couldn't afford to buy the painting at the time that that he finished the piece. And over the course of like the pandemic and stuff, I reached out to him. It must have been in the summer or fall of 2020, to let him know, hey, like, I'm actually moving forward with this. Like, I'm getting ready to do the layout. Like, would you be down to do the layout? And at that point, I hadn't spoken to him in like a year. He was like, hey, I think that it'd be really great if you actually had this painting, because it apparently hadn't sold. He hadn't sold it elsewhere, like at any shows or anything. So like at some point I'll be able to get this painting physically. Like at some point I want to go out to California, drive out there, eat a bunch of In-N-Out burgers and drink some Russian River beer and fucking meet Leo and pick up this fucking conquistador.
So I've heard of In-N-Out burger, but what the heck is a Russian root beer? What?
Russian River Brewing Company.
Oh, so like beer, actual beer. Then.
Yeah. Okay, I want to go get some Russian River beers. okay. Among others.
I'm not a big fan of In-N-Out myself. I don't like animal style. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe it's because they're bad in Texas.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I always get nervous to order animal style. Like, I don't want to say that. Like, I don't know I don't even really understand what it means. Like, I don't want to, what if I say it wrong? That's like my fear. Like, what if I fuck up the order and like some idiot laughs at me and I'll just have to, like, I don't know. It feels so weird. So I just never do it.
Is that your favorite hamburger place, or do you have something else that you like more?
No, it's not even my favorite. I mean, I love like artisanal as fuck, local ass fuck burgers, but like, I don't know. was in California a couple of years ago, and I was doing something in Malibu, and I was driving up these canyon roads. I was like, "There's an In-N-Out burger around here. I've never gotten one of those." So I took a 45-minute detour and drove my ass In-N-Out burger, and it was just cool. I don't know, it was pretty good. But it was just like one of those memories that was awesome. I was like sitting on the hood of a rental car, like doing this mix masterclass with this amazing mix engineer. If anyone knows Kevin Shirley, shout out Kevin Shirley. He's like a fucking legend. I took a masterclass with him, like it must have been 3-4 years ago now. And I'm like just having this amazing time in California, like for the first time in a couple years, like eating burgers, like listening to metal in the rental car. Like, dude, life is awesome.
Dude, you're awesome, man. Holy shit. If you ever have the chance, go to a Whataburger, though. That's the best one.
Is that okay? Are they only, they're in Texas, right? Where you are?
I want to say they're in the Southwest. Doesn't sound right. Maybe Southeast, but it's in the South somewhere. Definitely in Texas.
Okay.
Definitely in Texas.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure on my Conquistador painting road trip, I'll make sure I stop at a Whataburger, and then I'll also stop at an In-N-Out, and we can like pit them against you. I'll have like the comparison. I'll know.
Okay, there you go. That's how you do it. So you had the painting made a long time ago then? It wasn't like more of a recent thing?
I guess I think it took most of 2019 to figure out, like, to get that done. I think we did it. I think I had the final painting like summer of 2019. So it's a couple years old.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Were you like planning on having this released earlier than this then, or?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I recorded this. We started the recording at about this time in 2018. So 3 years ago. And it took all of 2018 to like deal with the, I didn't immediately go re-record it. I like tried to work at the studio and work with this engineer, and it was like wasn't working. And then I had to like regroup a bunch of times. So, I started really hitting it hard again in 2019, and that's when I got the painting underway. And then, I tried the mix a bunch of times and it just never was working right. And I had to go back and re-record a bunch of stuff and add things and this and that. So it was basically 3 years of constant work to get to this point from the very beginning of the recording.
Dude. Like, I can't even imagine that feeling of like thinking that it's done and then listening to it later on being like, God, that's just not good, man. That's
well, because you make music, like you have that feeling when you leave a studio and you leave a studio on a great note. And like everyone's happy and everyone high fives and you like have a drink after the fucking session and you're like, yeah, we got a record. And then like I just began to get deflated gradually after that last great session, realizing like I don't actually have in these tracks what I thought and hoped I would have. And I really need to love them up some. So that's
Hey, good on you for like noticing that and actually like making the changes and stuff, putting the work into it. Like this is not like a small feat. This is like a whole a huge project that you undertook. It's awesome that you got it done, man. So you self-released this. Were you planning on self-releasing it, or were you planning on going through like a label, or did you reach out to anybody, or
yeah, fucking Metal Blade would return my email.
Come on, Metal Blade.
I never emailed them. No, I wouldn't do that. I mean, no, they're great. It's not that I wouldn't do this. Yeah, I never really had any like, illusions of grandeur that I'd release this on a gigantic record label and have huge support. Like I'm just a dude,
like a small one or something. Like, were you just planning on self-releasing it the whole time then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, at first, like I thought, maybe I'd have enough time because I'd get the record done in 2018 that like I could kind of shop it around a little bit. But as 2019 turned into 2020, turned into this year, I got to a point where like once I became happy with the mixes, it was a no-brainer. Like I'm not gonna wait and hope somebody is gonna support me on the release. Like fuck it, I'll buy some CDs and make a couple shirts and whatever. Like I can do it.
Oh, hell yeah, man! I like that. You plan on doing vinyl at any point?
I was actually like fully planning on self-financing a run of vinyl for this record before I realized that there's no good way to organize the songs on any format of vinyl.
Yeah.
It's like 51 minutes total, which is a lot. I mean, that's like too much to put on.
Yeah, I think you can only do like 45 minutes. Is that right? It's something like that.
Yeah,
right?
it's like, I mean, you can get like 22 minutes on a side of 33 RPM before it starts to break up. Like you can physically put more, like up to 25 minutes, I think is like what you physically can put on a 33. But like you start to incur distortion because you just run out of you run out of space for the grooves.
Right.
Like the longer runtime past like 22 minutes or whatever. So I didn't want to do that. So it has
to be a double LP then. That sucks.
It would have to be a double LP, but then you get into the song lengths issue. If I did like I actually was planning it out earlier, like on playlists, like I could do a 2X LP with like 2 songs per side and then 3 on one, but then I'd only have 3 sides out of 4, you know what I mean? So it's like, so one thing I'm planning in the future is I would love to do like a 3-song EP, like a 15 to 18 minute EP, right? That I release simultaneously on vinyl with Conquistador.
Okay.
So like 3 sides are Conquistador, and the 4th, like side D, would be this EP that I would also release digitally, like separately. So that's something that I'm gonna be like cooking up in the near future, is trying to get something like that going.
I guess you can't put your first EP on one of the sides, right? It's too long, right?
And I wouldn't want to. I would want to remix it if I did that. And I don't know. I'd rather move forward than go backward. I've got ideas that I want to do going forward. So
I like that. Move forward then go backward. I really like that.
Yeah.
So where was I? Lost my place. Oh, we have a question that we ask all people that come here. How do you dress your hot dogs?
Oh, hot dogs. I fucking love hot dogs. Yeah. God, hot dogs are sick, dude. Oh, okay. Like number 1 hot dog is like a classic Chicago dog.
What's a Chicago
classic
dog?
Chicago dog. What is a Chicago dog?
Yeah.
Okay, so what fucking goes into it? It's like, it's got that green relish shit. It's got the mustard and the little like what is it? The little peppers. I had the hot peppers and the tomatoes and the onions, right?
Okay.
And that's I think, and it's got to be a poppy seed bun. Like that is from memory a Chicago dog. And somebody from Chicago is gonna fucking get mad at me and shit. If I get
well, it
wrong.
Sounds good, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, if I'm like grilling hot dogs, grilling brats with the boys, what am I doing? I don't know, fucking like whatever I got, bro. Like I'd fuck up trying to do a Chicago, so just throw some mustard on that bitch and be done with it.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Great poupon.
So you haven't played any shows as Stone Healer. Do you plan on doing that in the future?
I do. I do plan on doing it in the future. I mean, Stone Healer is a 2-piece with my brother and I, and my brother Matt he's not like, he hasn't become a professional musician. Like that's not his job. Like it's my job. And the nature of his life is like, he's not going to play shows with Stone Healer. Like that's not realistic, especially not touring, like doing big tours and stuff. So, once it becomes like safe to start touring again and doing like big touring plans, I will be assembling a all-star live lineup, like just some rock star dudes that can play the shit and be awesome. And we will go on tour. Cause I miss playing shows and touring, and I never got to do it with Stone Healer thus far. I've just been in a band with Matt, and Matt's life has gone in a different direction than mine. So now that I've got like a release that I can really get behind and that I can really push, like I'm excited to go forward with a live lineup and do it for the first time in like 6 years.
First time playing a show?
Yeah, something like, I mean, of my own music. Like Matt and I, our old band Autolatry did a lot of touring. We did 2 big US tours, and we did some smaller mini tours, and we did a whole lot of show playing in New England, like around Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, where we're from originally. So like we're no stranger to being road dogs. And I miss doing that. I miss a show every day for 2 months. Like I want that again. So that's the goal.
Well, since you played shows with them, what are some of your experiences? What's your best shows you've done?
I think the most satisfying show, like Raleigh, North Carolina has always been good to us. Like North Carolina as a state has always been good to us, but Raleigh specifically has always been good to my bands and any band that I've like got on tour with, like played with other bands. But like our first tour ever, we were so green. Like Matt was 17. I was barely 21. Like we were so young, and we booked like a almost 2-month tour, like a 6-week tour across the entire United States on a shitty EP.
Damn, dude, that's crazy. That's a lot.
And we were just like, yeah, let's play shows. Like let's go play shows. So we played this show. We had this show booked at like a punk house in Raleigh, and it was sick. Like there were black metal bands and there were crust punk bands, and there was like tons of kids there. Like they turned up, and then like 10 minutes into the first band set, the spot gets shut down.
Oh,
like
shit.
Eviction notices on the door, like punks, like, crying in their PBRs. Like it sucks, and everybody's sad. And then somebody gets the idea, hey, is there another house we can move the show to? So like there was this exodus. Somebody found a house that we could have the show at. There was an exodus of all the gear and all the bands and all the fans and all the people, like moved to some other house in Raleigh. Like it might have been closer to Durham. Like I don't know exactly where it was, but it was like at some cool, like near the university. And we'd load into this house, and I think that they just wanted us to play at that point. So like we just set up in this house, and people showed up, and they like, imagine just like a regular North Carolina house, like packed with people, like the living room, just wall to wall people, sardines, and it's sweaty, and everyone, like we all had our shirts off, and people were singing our songs for the first time. They were singing the lyrics to our shitty EP. Dude, at this house in North Carolina where we'd never played before. And like, we felt like rock stars. It was the best feeling ever. And like replicating that feeling of like being wanted to play somewhere by people who care about your music and who just want to rock out and have a good time on a Thursday night. Like I want that feeling. Like that's what I want. So
like
that was like
the dragon you're chasing now.
Yeah, exactly. So like
yeah,
that's like one of my best shows ever. That's like one of the ones that just immediately comes to mind.
That's awesome, man. And like the I guess solidarity that people had there to like move with the show and not just like say fuck this and go home.
Yeah,
while, like things are
we
trying
didn't
to come
expect
together.
that.
That's awesome.
We were
man.
expecting to go, to not get paid, not get any money, not sell any merch, like to fucking live in the van again that night. Like, and then this miraculous thing happened, and ever since then, I've had really great success in Raleigh. Like those kids turn up, they go hard for anyone that's good. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it's like that night you're going to a motel, boys. You get motel money.
Yeah. We were camping on that tour. Like every tour that we've done, like everyone just brings their tents, and we find places to pitch our tents.
Sick, man. I always wondered about doing that stuff. Like if there's enough campsites around the country, I guess there is.
Oh, dude. Sacramento, California. I got big love for California. I'm sure Sacramento is cool, but we were like not received well at this show. And all I remember, because it was like such a swirly haze, like we were playing with a bunch of fucking super cult black metal bands, like serious black metal. Like if you insult their black metal somehow, then they like might stab you or like fucking get your tires. I think somebody mentioned watch your tires at that show. But, but like after that gig, we had nowhere to go and we were like out of money. Like California did not get us paid. And we were like so exhausted because the show started at like 10:30 or something. And I think we pitched our tents on the side of the highway. Like,
can you do that? Is that legal?
No, it's not. Like, you know how like some main roads, like not the interstate, but like some like main roads are kind of like a highway, like it's a 50-mile-an-hour road with 2 lanes on each side. It was like one of those, and then like we kind of like, oh yeah, Carl, our singer, drove the van with one of the other guys to like a park and ride, and like did an hour sleeping there. And then drove around because they got kicked out by a cop and like did an hour sleeping. And then me and then 4 of the other guys that were with us, like we had our tents pitched on the side of the road, like as discreetly under some trees as possible, like looking into somebody's yard. And I don't know, somebody that night had night terrors, and like it was just a horrible night. And we got paid in 3 black metal demo tapes and like $15.
3 black metal tapes.
That's what the promoter gave us. And it was like, he was like, you guys, good luck and everything, but like, you can't stay here. Like you can't, like, meaning in the parking lot venue, like, don't stay here. Seriously, you need to go. I don't care. Like it was, dude, we were a little scared, like actually kind of a lot scared. I'm sure Sacramento's better now. I haven't been back since. But.
Jesus. And would you say that's the worst show that you've done?
No.
Oh shit,
no.
It gets worse.
I mean, I think, okay. Like there were bad moments of like doing shows and stuff, like where either nobody came or like, but you can always have fun. I think one that sticks out is, we had this crazy 3-day stretch on that same tour that I was talking about with Raleigh and Sacramento. It was Hattiesburg, New Orleans, and San Antonio. And in Hattiesburg, like we played this show and it was kind of cool. And the promoter was really nice, and we're going to stay with him. But, there was just all this talk of like smoking K2 and it became like a running joke, like, oh, somebody's lacing their shit with K2. But like, I guess somebody was. So like, I don't really know what happened, but I stopped being babysitter at the promoter's trailer in Hattiesburg, Mississippi in the middle of the summer with no air conditioning at 4 a.m. And I went to bed at that point. And our bass player, Sean, was like in the kitchen, like shooting the shit and smoking whatever was being passed around. The next morning at 9 a.m., we all wake up and we don't know where Sean is. Sean's gone.
Sean was your bass player, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sean is gone. He was the dude that was up. Like, Sean's fucking gone. We can't find, he's not in the van. He's not in the other trailer where the other guys were staying. Like, he's nowhere in this place. It's finally, like, somebody works up the courage to, like, walk in the like, bedroom of the host. And, like, lo and behold, Sean is tucked up all nice under the covers with the host. We're like, okay, cool. He got to bed. Let's get Sean and let's get the fuck out of here. We want to go eat we want to go to the French Quarter in New Orleans. Like, let's go to New Orleans now. So we pile in the van, we go to New Orleans. Sean starts to feel a little bit weird. Sean's feeling a little weird. Like he's just not feeling right, but he's like a trooper and he's getting through it. So we park and we're hanging out in New Orleans and we're eating seafood gumbo and having a great time and just like, yeah, we got a couple hours to kill. Sean is having a problem. Sean like goes to the bathroom, is like puking bile, like stomach bile, and like
Jesus, having
a problem. And nobody knows what to do. And Sean thinks he's dying and is like telling us to call his family. Oh, and I'm like, I just need to get him Gatorade and he'll be fine. but I kind of knew he wasn't going to be fine. And we're going to play this show, and nobody came to the show in New Orleans. And we played without a bass player because Sean was just in the van sleeping, and like he couldn't move. He was in agony. We thought that it was curtains. We thought we were gonna have to fly Sean home and do the rest of the dates without a bass player. But miraculously, somebody at the show bought $130 worth of our merch to stock in his record store.
Damn.
So we were like, all right, we need to get a hotel tonight. We're getting a hotel tonight. So we bit the bullet. We got a hotel with that money. We get Sean in there and we're like, all right, we're going to reevaluate in the morning. We'll talk to our booking agent. Like we'll reevaluate. Sean wakes up first at 7 a.m. and he is ready to go. He is fucking all better.
Dude, hell yeah,
He scared us to death. He's all fucking better now. We go get pancakes at the Denny's across the street, and we're like, all right, yeah, I think I'm ready to go. You know, like we can go play San Antonio. So we hop on over to San Antonio. We go to the Alamo. We're taking pictures, having a good time. We're gonna play the Corova basement. For any San Antonio homies out there, the Corova, but the basement, it's downstairs. And it was okay. We're like looking for a place to stay that night, right? We're looking for a place to stay in San Antonio. So I put it out to all the boys, like, all right, find a place to stay, report back to me. Like, we're going to have somewhere tonight. Like, we're not paying tonight. All right. Floors.
Okay,
let's do
right.
it. So this guy comes up to me and Dirt, I mean no harm, Dirt, if you're watching.
Wait, his name's Dirt?
I'm wearing a shirt from the band Dead in the Dirt at the time, at that show, right? And this dude comes bounding up to me after we had played, or before we had played, excuse me. And he goes, "Hey, my name's Dirt, like Dead in the Dirt." And I'm like, "Cool, man, like great to meet you." And he's like, "I heard you guys needed a place to stay tonight." I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we do actually, but we might have some other options we're kind of working on. But and he's like, yeah, let me know. It bounds off, and I'm like, okay, so we're not staying at Dirt's house. I go report back to the guys, talk to them individually. All right, guys, there's this dude named Dirt. It's perfectly nice, right? But we're not staying at Dirt's house. We're just not staying at Dirt's house, okay?
Right. You go over there, you die. You most likely die.
So like, we play the set like we were the last band, and the show's over, and people are coming up to us, and we're cleaning up our merch and stuff, and I'm in the back of my mind like, we don't have a place to stay tonight. Like, I got nothing, dude. I got nothing. And then Sean, of course, comes running up to me and he goes, "Dave, I got us a place to stay. It's going to be great." I'm like, yes, he knows we're not staying at Dirt's house. He knows this. So this is amazing. I didn't have to do this. Like, Sean got it done. And then I see Dirt. Then I see Dirt. And I'm like, oh, what did we just do? And what we just did. Oh, man. So Dirt hops in the front seat of the van and he directs us. We'd driven around the town a little bit earlier, like very close to the Alamo. It gets pretty rough pretty quick. And again, no shade on San Antonio.
No, plenty of shade. I heard guns going off in the middle of the night when I was in that area. Yeah.
It can be fucked up. So Dirt's taking us there. And like we get to this block where like there were all these buildings and no lights. Like usually there'd be some lights on at night, but there was just no lights.
It's pretty sus.
And I'm like, something's fucked up here. So like he tells us where to park, and we park on the side of the road. And he's like, all right, this is it. And it's this like 4 or 5 story apartment. And we're like down to check it out, right? So everyone grabs their stuff and we follow him up like 4 flights of stairs. And I'll never forget what I was met with when he opened this apartment door. Walk in the apartment, right? It's like one where you walk in and like the kitchen is to your right, and then the living room is to your left, like in the apartment, and then like straight ahead there was just like little it's like the entryway, and to our right with the kitchen, there's this open window where you could see into the kitchen, and there are these two dudes, and they're holding the largest vat of tomato paste that I'd ever seen in my life. Like an industrial sized can. Like you'd have to go like this to hold it.
Okay.
Holding it like this, right?
Yeah.
And one of them is stabbing it with a chef's knife. Stabbing the top of it open.
Oh, like a can. Okay. I thought you were talking about they had like a pot
opener.
open. Okay. I thought you were saying they had like an open pot with the tomato paste in it.
It was closed. He was stabbing it. They didn't have a can opener.
Yeah.
He was just trying to stab it open with a chef's knife. In front of us is a person who is clearly passed out from a heroin thing. And the TV is just a static. It's just loud static. And then there's a circle of people on the carpet in the living room, and there's just a lot of needles.
Yeah, get the fuck out of there, right? Shit.
So like, well, my 17 and 18-year-old compadres, my brother and his friends, who was 18, who was the guitar player with our band at the time, Joe, if you're watching this, I love you, buddy. I'm sorry for turning you into a dirty kid, but he's like, they won't bother me, man. Like, it's gonna be fine. So they asked you, like, I got this story later from them. I didn't see it with my own eyes, but apparently past the living room, like the next room, was like where the bathroom was at. And to get to the bathroom, you had to walk through the hobo room.
The hobo room. Okay.
The hobo room. I was the way that they told it is like they walked in the hobo room and there's no lights in there, but there were the lit up eyes of people around the walls.
Jesus Christ.
And they got through, and when you get through to the bathroom and turn on the light, there's just shit smeared everywhere.
As you would expect next to the hobo room.
Yeah. So Carl, our singer, slept on the couch next to the knotted off guy. Matt and Joe slept on the floor. I do not think they were in danger. And I and Sean elected to go sleep in the van.
Dude, I would be too. I would have.
It was 110 degrees outside in the middle of August in San Antonio in a heat wave.
Oh yeah.
At night. It was insane. We were both hallucinating in the van to the point that, like, at 5 a.m., I remember I took my pillow and I slept on the sidewalk for 2 hours. Like, I was so tired.
I could believe it.
And it was like a brutal neighborhood to be sleeping on the sidewalk in.
Right.
So 7 a.m.
Jesus Christ.
I see 3 very tired and weary individuals exit Dirt's apartment. I got into the van too, and we kind of rode in silence for a while on our way to New Mexico.
Holy shit, man.
And that was the craziest 3 days that we had on tour.
Dude, that's fucking crazy, man.
I know that's a long one, but that is
no,
also
that's
one of my
totally worth
stories.
it. Totally worth it, man. I do these like cold opens at the beginning of these, like on YouTube and stuff like that, and I put like the most interesting part of like the interview there, and I want to figure out a way where I could just take all of that and just bundle it together and put that at the front without
There's got to be a line.
A minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I assume that's probably the weirdest story you have for us too.
Shit. Well, I want to underscore all of these tour stories by saying that that this entire time that we were on tour, the 2 years that we did these big tours, I was constantly on the phone with the woman, the brainwash woman.
Oh shit.
Like I was I was fucking channeling aliens in the front seat of the van, like 6 to 8 hours a day on the phone with this woman.
Holy fuck, man.
So like that was going on while all this was happening.
Jesus.
And it was gradually getting worse and worse. Like it started only being like a couple hours a day on the phone. And it over the course of like 2 years, it turned into like I was on the phone from the minute I woke up with the band, with my boys, to the minute we got on stage.
God damn, dude. Did anybody try to like, talk you out of like talking to her?
Yeah, like my these are my boys, and I was convinced that they were all black souls and they were trying to kill me. So I was like, guys, like seriously, you don't understand. Like you don't understand. And I was just being a fucking asshole, but not because I wanted to. Like
Right.
I had been like inceptioned to fucking believe a lot of crazy stuff. So I was manipulated in that way, but by the end of it, like the second tour that we did like four plus weeks. We went out with a great band who are some of our best friends called Obsidian Tongue.
Oh, I think I've heard of them before. Okay.
Yeah. They're some of our oldest and best musical friends and allies, and like I love them to death. I work with them personally as an engineer, but they did that tour with us, and Greg Murphy, the drummer at the time, was like trying to talk to me, and not in a forceful way, and just like a dude, if you need to talk about what's going on with you right now, like I know you haven't really talked to us, but like seriously, like you can talk about it. But I wasn't gonna talk. And at that point, that second one, like, yeah, it was like if we had a 10-hour drive, I was on the phone with her that 10 hours.
Jesus. Well, I don't want to like break it up, but FSOJTOMC in chat, I have no idea what that's supposed to say. Says that he doesn't know Stone Healer, but the story alone makes him want to go subscribe to your OnlyFans. So if you have an OnlyFans, there you go.
I need to get that started, man. It's been a long time goal of mine. People would see. I mean, who wants to see this hair thrown around? You know?
Dude, hell yeah.
I'm talking about. I'm all about that OnlyFans.
So I think in order to cap off the story, we need to know how you got away from her.
Yeah. So, end of the second tour, I think I was 22, about to turn 23. I got home from that and I was real fucked up because like she had changed the narrative over time to like, we were working together and we were like partners, and then she started to lose her abilities. It's like classic cult like arc. It's like the arc of a cult. So like she starts to lose her abilities and starts to cede control of her life onto me. So like I am like trying to find places where this woman is not going to be attacked by aliens on Earth for her to live. Like I think that she's truly sick because like I told her to move to Belgium, and then she did like a week later to go live in a monastery because the Greys wouldn't attack her with plasma.
What the fuck?
But they still did. So she moved back to like fucking Montana or something. Again, because I told her so. She like asked me to channel places that she would be safe from the Greys' plasma, and that I did. And then she moved each of them, but like they kept on finding her, and she kept on getting attacked, and it was painful, and she was losing her abilities to see and to be clairvoyant. And she had saved my life so many times, or so I thought, that like I was not willing to hang up on her. I was not willing to give up on this person who I thought we were living. I was like not living in real life. I was living in this underground spirit world, right? That was my reality. And we got back from the tour in like September. Between September and the end of October, this came to a head where like I was on the phone with her 12 hours a day at home. And then the last week of October, I was on the phone with her 24, like not 24/7, but 18 hours a day. Like aside from my sleep time, I was on the phone channeling with her, trying to figure out like why this was happening. And I called out from work and I told him I was sick and I couldn't go anywhere and this and that. And because at that point she had dropped the gigantic bombshell that that it was actually me that was causing her to lose her abilities. It was actually me that was causing all of this because I had a pact with the devil that I signed in my 7th lifetime as an alien on another planet. Because my alien body had been raped repeatedly in my birth life, in my soul's birth life, and like abused and horribly treated and this and that I disavowed God. In the 7th one, mind you, it took 7 lifetimes to disavow God, but apparently I did. This is what the story that she told me, and this is when I was like, this is not adding up. I'm not. This is when I was like, now that's it.
That's the straw that broke the camel's back
for me. It was like, because I mean, I gave it an honest try to renounce my pact with the devil. I really did, but it just wasn't working. I was like, I tried everything I could. I was up for a week straight trying to renounce my pact with the devil, and it didn't work. And she was like, and that's when I asked her, if I just go kill myself right now, will that end this? And this was the last day. And I'll never forget what she told me. She told me, Dave, and she never used these words with me. She said, Dave, you are so fucking stupid. Killing yourself won't do anything. That won't help me. And that's the only reason why I didn't kill myself. That's the only reason.
Shit.
Me too. I love living.
This
is awesome.
Your personality's like insane. Like,
yeah,
it's so much about like living life to the fullest.
So I mean, and you can see why. so like, she told me that, and she ended up giving up on me, and she was the one who hung up on me.
Really?
And that's when I said, I resigned. I am a black soul now. I will forever be a black soul. I'm sorry. And then I called my mom and I was like, hey mom, I'm going to come home for Thanksgiving. I hadn't talked to my mom in a really long time. I hadn't seen my parents like in a really long time, and they knew I was in a bad shape. I was like, yeah, I'm coming home for Thanksgiving. And once I started to reconnect with my family was when I started to realize that this was all a fabrication. This was all. I mean, imagine living this for 3 years.
Right, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah. And being so brutally convicted in this thought. You mentioned it before. It's like, this is how people become so convicted in like QAnon and other extremist movements. Like, I was radicalized. I was 100% radicalized. And frankly, I'm thankful that I was radicalized by this kind of zealot who was actually truly sick and who did not lead hundreds of thousands of people. Like, she was just a sick, gifted individual. I'm glad I got radicalized by one of those rather than like a extreme right wing or a different
Trump. You can
sect.
say Trump. You can say Trump.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Any other different sect of like religious extremism, like, because some other people might have died, but not masses. And I wasn't part of a movement. I was just also a sick and brainwashed person. Jesus. And you can move past that.
Dude, that I don't even know what to say about like all that. That's crazy, man. I think I've had some people on here that have talked about some crazy shit, like seeing ghosts and stuff like that. I don't know if you know Cameron McBride from Methwitch, but he's seen some fucked up stuff.
Oh,
this one takes the cake, man. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, this is insane.
That's my life, man.
I don't even have a good transition to go into something else. So I guess, what was the last album you listened to?
Um, I've been trying to like check out stuff. I've been trying to like stay up on albums that come out, but like I can't really remember anything that's really stuck with me for a while. Like I think the last band that I got really into and that like I became a huge fan of was Wayfarer. They're this band from Colorado, and they kind of they're like, I guess you could call them black-ish metal, but they're like old west black metal.
How does
Like
that work?
that's their aesthetic.
Old West?
It's yeah, like old like like
saloons
cool.
and shit?
Yeah, like cowboy. Like it's not on the
Really?
nose. It's not like on the nose, like fucking guns drawn, like kicking in the double doors. No, it's like just like it's got it, the chord progressions they use and the kind of tones they use and the jangly type of guitars that they use and they have these, man, they have really cool hats. The dudes in Wayfarer have amazing hat taste. Like y'all, if you want some good hat fashion, just fashion in general, these men are gorgeous. These are amazing looking human beings that have great fashion. Great fashion. I went out and like was trying to buy a $600 hat because I saw this dude's amazing hat. Oh my god, I love their hats. It's amazing.
All right, you just check that out.
Great band though, and that's the last band that I really got into like big time. They put out a record last year. I think it's called a romance. A romance with. I want to get the name right because it's a really cool album. And it's awesome. Hold on, Wayfarer. A Romance with Violence is the album they put out in 2020. And it's really, really good. And they've just kind of upped their game after every release. But like, I think for people that connect with my music, there's a feeling to it. And there's something very honest that you will feel transmitted to you if you're open to it. And I feel that Wayfarer has that too. They do that too. There's a very honest and authentic to themselves feeling with what they're doing with that band.
Dude, I need to look into them, man. I've heard the name so much, I never gave them a shot. So speaking of you though, you have CDs and shirts available. You have any you can show us?
Yeah. So here's the Digipax CD. This is, so it opens up and we have, this is my personal copy. So we have the CD and then the album statement is in here. Then we have a full lyric booklet.
Is that the statement that's on your Bandcamp?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So all this is accessible, on Bandcamp because I wanted people to read this, but, if you want to follow along and have something physical, it's nice to have the booklet and stuff. So that's the CD. I think it came out well. It's like a nice matte finish on the packaging. I always like that stuff.
Who'd you go through?
I used disc makers for the first time with this one. I thought they were cool. It was fine. Decent pricing. It's like they're all going to do basically the same job, as long as it's a reputable company. And then we have album shirts. So this is the shirt that we have.
Tight. Holy shit.
And it came out really well. What's that?
How much are you selling it for?
They're 20. The shirts are 20. We've got small through XL. And they look really good and they wash well. Like this isn't washing off. So and they're really comfortable. These are what shirts are these? These are like they're next level apparel shirts. So they're soft and comfy.
Springing for the good stuff. I like it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I gotta keep my fans comfortable out there.
And all this is available at stonehealer.bandcamp.com, right?
That's right. Only place to get it.
It's about all I had to talk about unless you wanted to bring something else up.
Yeah. Wait, unless I wanted to bring something else up?
Yeah, unless you had something else to bring up.
No, I just want to thank you for asking so many great questions and having a great conversation with me.
Hell yeah, man. I'm just going to move on to the outro then. Instead of purchasing useless healing crystals, you should get something that actually heals the soul and pick up a copy of Conquistador, Stone Healer's debut full length, which dropped last Friday. You guys are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Bandcamp, and I believe it's all at Stone Healer. Is that right? Or are there like underscores and stuff?
Yeah,
for all of them.
yeah, it's Stone Healer's in all of them. It's
Huh.
2 underscores before the Twitter one, underscore Stone Healer on Twitter, and Stone underscore Healer on Instagram.
Alrighty. I'm sure if you just search up Stone Healer, you'll be able to find them. You're also on all streaming platforms. Is there anything else that I'm missing? Like social plugs?
No, that's all we got. I'm on there and pretty active on every medium, and I love interacting with people. So if anyone has questions or feedback on the music or just wants to chat about stuff, like I'm always down to hang.
Hell yeah, man. As for me, jump my channel, follow so you always know when I go live. You can also sub to get access to some exclusive emotes, as well as as well as access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and streaming services. You can also sub for free by connecting Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube folks, if you like the video, please drop a like, tickle the notification bell. Don't forget to subscribe. It's a great way to support me for free. Check out my music, The Sound That Ends Creation, at thesoundthatendcreation.bandcamp.com. My next guest is San Diego-based chaotic hardcore band The Undertaking, who dropped their sick debut album Funeral Psalms last Friday on Solid State Records. Join us this Wednesday, May 5th, right here at twitch.tv/thecastincreation for the live cast. Thanks for being here. Hope you had a good time.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. And thank you guys for watching and listening.